joining me. I'm going to be talking about how we can know the future and how we can know what's going on right now. It's simple, not often easy, but it requires us to change the way that we perceive the world, and also to really let go and totally plug into our intuition, our discernment, and tune out the media. Two parts to this. All we have to do to know the future is to know history. What has happened? What have they done in the past? Because I think at the end of the day, we're looking at, okay, who are the bad guys in the world, and what are they up to? Because we want to stay safe, and we want to protect ourselves and our assets and family and friends and so on. I always challenge people, what if the guys that say they're the good guys aren't really the good guys? What if they're in fact the bad guys? Plays a little Stockholm syndrome into the situation. It gets people thinking, because I look around and I'm like, okay, we've been attacking, the United States has been getting rid of bad guys for decades, apparently. But I look around and I think the world's still very sketch, and I still see major problems on the horizon. We have massive inflation. We are unaliving millions of people around the world with these wars that we go into. There appear to be forces on Earth, I have a pretty good idea of who they are, that are using people as, trying to sink ships in countries. We saw it in Arab Spring. We're seeing it in the United States. We're seeing it in England. They're using human beings in an effort to, I call it putting ants in the jar. They're throwing multiple different cultures and classes and ethnicities in a jar, and then they're shaking the jar, and then they're instigating trouble, and then things start popping off. And this is why I say we got to know history. We have to know their tactics. The Hegelian dialectic is in play. Problem, reaction, solution. We know that they love to instigate violence in order to impose more control over us. So we have to be aware of that. These people are cunning and ruthless and master manipulators of the highest level. So I always encourage people to know history. If you know history and know what has happened in the past, you don't even have to assign this group did it or that group did it. You just have to know what's happened in the past. And you can then go, well, that happened, so maybe I better keep my eyes and ears open, right? These random events, let's say the Boston Marathon, when that bomber, did that thing, probably a good idea to keep situational awareness in crowds and in cities. Early 2000s, probably a good idea to kind of keep situational awareness if you're flying on a plane or in a building. The more awake and aware we can be, the safer we're going to become. And the better we're able to tell other human beings, hey, things might not always be what they say it is. It's very interesting, because in a world where information is readily available to everyone, there's sometimes, and I have been guilty of this in the past, there's not a lot of uptake, because we're so focused, our phones have put our attention outward, and we're like, oh, what's up today? And it just tells us almost what to think. It's very dangerous and diabolical if you really break it down. This is why the number one thing that I recommend to people to reset is to do a hard reset, like unplug from all media. In fact, I'm going to put that in the Great Awakening Guide. I don't think I have it in there yet. No social, no media, no music, no digital of any kind. I don't listen to any music when I drive around in my car now. I don't want any of the music. I don't want the commercials, the music, because I've already realized, oh, it's subtle ways of programming me. See, when you realize your mind is the most precious asset, your consciousness, what you put into your brain is the most precious asset, you're never going to listen to the media again, and you're never going to listen to a politician again, and you're probably not going to listen to a lot of the mainstream music or watch the movies, because you can see it now. You can see it now, the ways they're subtly programming you in order to manipulate you on some level, cut you off from the source of God within you, right? This is our most precious asset. This is why I really urge people who are still watching the media and listening to politicians on any level, as long as you know what's up and you're good with that, I just want to remind people you are engaging in a very, very dangerous activity, a very dangerous activity indeed. No one knows to what degree, they've alluded to it in the past, but no one knows to what degree our government is involved with these social media companies. I assume, and this is my assumption to keep myself safe and keep me on the right track, is that they completely are involved, or they were involved in the creation of it. And I realize I use those in order to run my media business. However, I'm very conscious of what I do on there and what I consume on there, and I don't consume a lot of stuff. I don't want to get on there and infinitely scroll, because that's not good for my mental health. It's all a tool. However you want to use the tool, you can use the tool for good or bad. You can use the tool to inform yourself or to indoctrinate yourself. It's interesting right now in the world where we have social media and information at our fingertips, and many people still don't have a good idea of what's going on. In the information age, if a person doesn't have a good idea what's going on, they don't want to know what's going on. You know, I mean, that's just the way that it is. There's a meme going around. I may share it in the future, but it's the guy from V for Vendetta, and he is saying that, you know, in the meme, he's like, yeah, if you don't, you know, cheers to the people who know what's going on, or who get it. If you don't know what's going on, I don't know what to tell you. In an information age where we have access to information, this is why you're getting a mass awakening. Many people are waking up, but also many people aren't waking up. But you have to dive in. You got to let go. Back to the main theme of this live. All we have to do is know history to know the future, or have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen in the future. The other day I heard something about history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. And you see the same tactics coming over, and you see things like, oh, I see the Hegelian dialectic played here, 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 and here. In my experience, that is their go-to structure for creating social change. Problem, reaction, solution. They create a problem. We react in a certain way that they already know will react that way. And then we beg for a solution that they've already designed. And the solution always, always is more money, power, and control for them and their colleagues who they really work for. They do not work for us. If they work for us, they wouldn't be playing Hegelian dialectic on us again and again and again and again, right? But you only see that if you look back through history and go, Well, you got to know the Hegelian dialectic first. You got to know that framework, and then you got to be like, well, I see it there and there and there and there and there. I mean, you will see it. You will see it. And then when they play it again, that's why I say the border crisis is a Hegelian dialectic. Problem, reaction, solution. They're literally creating and facilitating the problem. Those people don't just like come in random. And the government's like, well, I don't know how they're getting here. Well, you let them in, mofo. You let them in. So don't tell me you don't know. Same thing with Janet Yellen saying, I don't know how inflation's happening. You're doing it. The Federal Reserve is doing it. All of these things, they have to play dumb in order to make people think, well, maybe they're trying their best. They're working their best. This is why I look at people and they say the government's doing the best they can. I'm like, dude, you don't know history. You don't know anything about anything. Like, that is the most fundamental mind control message that they give you, that we're doing our best, we're working hard for you. They're not working hard for anyone unless they pay them, right? And this is why I encourage people, hey, go become millionaires and trillionaires by living your purpose, doing your thing in the world, sharing your God-given gift with the world, so you can make billions of dollars so that you can influence government in a positive way, right? Or at least pull people out of the fire. because you got people like Soros and Klaus and Bill Gates and all the bad actors in the world trying to pull some scams on people. You know, there's some sketchy people out there, and they're very ambitious and aggressive, and they do not have humanity's best interest at heart, in my opinion. I encourage people, go get rich. I'm about ready to launch a life planning system, a life planning tool, a guide, information-based product, digital product with tools and techniques and practices to help people live their best life, do their thing in the world, know themselves. All the things that we're doing in life, it's about winning the game of life, winning the war within. There's a war within and there's a war without. There's a battle for God or the devil within, and there's a battle for God or the devil without. Good and evil, God and devil, it's in and out. And I find it to be very, very powerful in my own life. And I've been using it for a long time, developing it for probably about a year now. And it's going to be the folding in of all of the things that I've ever learned on my journey and all the tools. Because as you walk on your path to find your purpose in life and do your work in the world, you will pick up some gold nuggets. They're out there. And this is the consolidation of all those things. Again, it's a life planning system, lifestyle design system. I'm very excited about it. I'm super excited about it. So if you want to know more, follow me on social media at GMarkPhillips or subscribe on YouTube here. And I'll probably be, I don't know. I'm debating on whether to make my live series just talking about that. I don't know. I don't know, because as you know, I talk about things that are happening related to the human experience. All of my platform now is a transition and a movement from enhancing the human experience, which was my podcast, How to Have a Better Life. And I looked out into the world, which is why I started talking about mainstream topics and or politics. I looked in the world in 2020, really 2021, and I was like, son of a bitch. This is the biggest problem facing humanity. It isn't personal development or personal growth. This is the biggest problem facing humanity. And so I dove in. And I was like, we can't have a few people at the top with bad intentions dictating what's going to happen in the world. We got to fix the system. It's completely broken. And that's why I started talking. And it's blended very nicely, because as my own journey of awakening, it's been blended very nicely with the overall topic of the human experience and how to have a better life. We got to get these parasites off the back of humanity collectively, or we won't have a good future. We will not have a good future. They will, rob and pillage until everything's gone. And it's kind of close right there, to be honest. I hate to be negative Nelly, but I look around and it could go either way. And I have even come to terms with it myself that we may not make it through this. I mean, these people have been planning this for a long time, and they're indoctrinating the younger generation at an alarming rate. Parents are waking up to what the school system is doing. People are waking up to what the media and the government is doing, but still, they've been doing it for a long time. So there's my live. Before I go, I want to share with you the mug that I'm drinking out of today. This is from the Focus and Flow store. If you haven't visited focusandflow.co, you can pick up products and apparel for conscious creators, mugs and shirts and stickers and what else? Hoodies, hats. I'm a big hat person, obviously. I'm a big hat guy. But there's all sorts of things there. Focus and Flow is about reminding you that you're a creator, and when we create in a focused, conscious, deliberate way, we're going to have better experiences in life. And that is what the life guide that I'm going to be coming out with talks about as well too. It's like, hey, good morning to you. It's like, what do you want to create in life, and then who do you need to become to create that thing, right? It's all about changing our self-concept and changing our identity, and then just diving in, to be quite honest. But I'll be sharing more about that in the future. But anyway, check out the Focus and Flow store at focusandflow.co or anywhere on social media if you're interested in things like that. I appreciate you guys for hanging with me this morning on this live stream, and I will talk to you in the next one. Thanks so much. Have an awesome day.